Ben, let's start with Roseanne and all the controversy that has whirled around her this week. Should she have been fired for her comments?
I think that she probably should have. It's very difficult to say that ABC shouldn't have dumped the show given the nature of the comments and given the nature of the blowback they were likely to sustain from both viewers and advertisers. The real question is why there is this massive double standard in the media with regard to some people who get fired and some people who do not. And also what apologies we should accept and which ones we shouldn't. So Roseanne came out, she apologized. And frankly, Roseanne seemed like a mentally ill person, and not just seems like a mentally ill person. She has said in the past, over the past 30 years, that she suffers from mental illness, and yet the media have treated her apologies as completely insincere. They've suggested that she's a perfectly rational person who happens to be a racist, which is obviously not true. And then they're pretty much willing to overlook or make excuses for vile comments that are scripted, that are greenlit, and that are aired by people like Samantha Bee.
You know, Roseanne got canned by ABC. On the other hand, you had Samantha Bee, who made some just unbelievably vulgar comments. And it wasn't just the use of one particular word. It was the inference that she should engage in incest with her own father, the president, talking about Ivanka Trump. That seemed to get just brushed under the rug because she said, gee, I'm sorry. She even got an award from the television industry.
That's exactly right. She did. She got an award for it. Not only did she get an award, the awards show for social change, they barred the press from attending the awards show. And at that awards show, she proceeded to actually give a speech explaining that she wasn't really sorry at all. And yet everybody brushed it under the table. Half of Hollywood agrees with her. I mean, half of Hollywood was out there openly defending her original comments. It's really funny. Chris Hayes over at MSNBC, he had said that Roseanne Barr's racist comments were representative of Trump followers. Samantha Bee's comments are much more representative of Hillary Clinton followers than Roseanne's comments were representative of Trump followers.
You've been pretty controversial. You go to a college campus. What is so frightening about Ben Shapiro that college campuses want to either shut you down or put extraordinary bridles on the facility in which you speak, or the venue, or maybe the topics that you cover?
You know, it really is a matter of the left deciding that everybody they disagree with is a racist, sexist, bigot, homophobe, and who believe that these campuses have to be made safe from opposing viewpoints, that if there's an opposing viewpoint, that is a referendum on the character of the campus and a referendum on the character of the person who's opposing them. A lot of that springs from this intersectional dynamic that is so prominent on the left, this philosophy that says that we can judge the content of your speech by your skin color or by your sexual orientation, and that we're supposed to rank the importance of your speech by those group characteristics. So instead of treating people as individuals and treating their views as individual views, instead we say, well, you know, Shapiro's a white man, therefore his view ought not be heard, or if he's a white man and he's defending the idea that this is a meritocracy, that means that he is secretly racist.
Is this a millennial issue, or is this something more of a leftist issue? I mean, is there hope that there are millennials going to college today who don't necessarily fear a viewpoint that is different than theirs, or maybe even embrace a conservative viewpoint?
Yeah, I do think that what you are starting to see, and it's really interesting, is this real backlash to the identity politics that's been pushed by the left. So it is, you know, millennials who are getting violent on campus, but it's also the mainstream Democratic Party that has really internalized the intersectional critique and said that we're supposed to judge the value of your opinion on the basis of your group identity and membership. And there are a lot of people who are just sick of hearing this. And what this has created is a backlash, not just in terms of the viewership, but in terms of a lot of people who are on the left intellectually, but are sick of the identity politics and want to be able to have honest, open discussions about things. So,
this week, Starbucks closed all their stores so their employees could get a sensitivity training in race. Are the Starbucks employees that tone deaf to race that they had to have a whole afternoon to be coached in how to treat people?
Well, I think to me, what this really smacked of was Starbucks attempting to avoid bad PR by promoting diversity training that has no real impact. There's no scientific evidence whatsoever that the implicit bias training that was put out by Starbucks has any impact on racist behavior, and yet it's a way to avoid litigation, because if somebody sues Starbucks for racism, now they can claim, well, listen, we're not racist. We had diversity training with 8,000 stores full of people, and we shut down those stores for 3 hours at a time. Now, is that actually going to alleviate racism? No, there's actually just as much evidence that these sorts of programs actually enhance racism by making people irritated, but it doesn't matter to Starbucks because Starbucks' entire job here is to avoid the bad headline.
Ben, always a delight to hear you. Thanks so much for joining us. It is a pleasure having him on the show.
And thanks so much.
And make sure to read Ben's insightful commentary and subscribe to his potent and entertaining podcast, The Ben Shapiro Show. You can get both done at dailywire.com.